large-scale strikes across Iran, targeting Tehran, Isfahan and the south. The announcement comes shortly after a man was killed in Israel following missile launches from Iran. The Israeli Defense Forces said the strikes are aimed at Iranian infrastructure linked to what they call the terror regime. Officials described it as a coordinated wave of attacks in response to threats from Iran. Tensions remain high as both countries continue military actions, raising fears of further escalation in the region. We're now being joined by Professor Veselin Popovsky, who's a professor and vice dean, joining us from New Delhi. Thank you so much for joining us here today on NewsX World. So we just heard that the Israeli Defense Forces said they are aiming their strikes at Iranian infrastructure linked to what they call the terror regime. How credible do you think that is?
Well, it looks credible. It's very much fact what they hit. Well, first they killed the leadership, Ali Khamenei, in the top military. That was the first phase, within hours. The next target were ballistic missiles, and a lot of those were destroyed, 80%, maybe even more. The third target were the launchers, the platform where those missiles are launched. And again, a lot of those have been destroyed too. And now the next target are oil production and export facility, refineries. And this is what Israeli Defense Forces to reduce the capacity to sponsor terrorist organizations such as Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, the Shia militia in Iraq, and all those organizations that directly threaten, and in fact in the past attacked Israeli civilian and military targets. So very clear strategy. The first three phases are almost done. And the fourth phase is the oil capacity of Iran to be reduced as not to be able Iran to sponsor, to finance Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and those I mentioned. Very clear, very trustful. I have no doubt to accept that. The next target, and that's the most difficult one, will be the enriched uranium itself. That will be a difficult one. The first four will be done within days from now, but the fifth one, how to neutralize the Iranian already enriched uranium, is a question mark. And here possibly there could be also negotiations. I don't exclude negotiations with the new leader. You mentioned Moshtaba Khamenei as a new leader elected by the clerics. If he wants to survive, if he wants to show difference from his father, very possibly he might decide to negotiate the neutralization, the export, the transportation of the enriched uranium. Otherwise, this is the next target that Israel will hit as part of the operation.
And you just mentioned how the new leader could sort of put a halt to these strikes. Do you think that will happen going forward, or do you think we are going to go into many more weeks of this conflict?
Well, two options. If he wants to be the same as his father, the war will continue and he joins his father in the heaven. Or he might be different from his father, which means stopping the sponsorship of terrorist organizations and neutralizing the nuclear facilities. So he can fight, which means certain death for him. Israel will not blink to kill him. Or if he wants to survive, then the other option is to cooperate and to talk to mediators and to basically apologize for what his father did and to neutralize the enriched uranium. So two options. It's again very clear for me. The first, if he decides to fight, will mean several more weeks of bombing, If he wants to cooperate, it can stop tomorrow. He needs to tell the guards to stop shooting to Qatar, Kuwait, and the Emirates, and to promise to cooperate with the neutralization of the enriched uranium. Simple.
And as we know, last on the weekend, the president of Iran came out and said that they will put a stop, or that they don't mean to attack their Middle Eastern neighbours, and attacks are still going ahead. And then today, China has spoken out with Iran, saying to not get involved with their new leader. Is China also coming in with this conflict, speaking up about it? Is this also an escalation into it as well?
Yeah, China is very concerned with the closure of the exports through the Strait of Hormuz, because a lot of Chinese demands are supplied by Iran. And obviously Chinese are talking to the Iranians and to the new leader to de-escalate, to stop shooting targets in the Gulf states, to open the Strait of Hormuz so that the oil tankers from Qatar, the Emirates, Bahrain, and Kuwait can freely go and reach their destination. So yes, I expect all these factors will play positively. I'm sure this will stop within the next week or 10 days. It will not be a third world war, as people say. It will be a 2 weeks, maximum 3 weeks of operation. And after that, the new leader will cooperate with China, with even with Israel. I don't see any other way here, because otherwise it's basically suicidal if the new leader decides to go the way his father did.